We have all known ascended masters. We have all worked with ascended masters, and will continue to know ascended masters, and all of us will become ascended masters. We will actually have the conscious experience of that actually occurring, all of us. They're just simply here to show us how to do it, to embody it, to be it, to represent it, to be a light in an area bathed in darkness. These beings will keep coming back. If you're enjoying the video and you want to go deeper with me, check out my meditation masterclass. It's unlike anything. It's pinned in the comments below. And they have never abandoned you, and they never will, ever. They simply do it in a cycle. They do it in a way that maybe we can't understand with our conscious mind. But know for a fact that they are with you, that they are a part of you, and they will never, ever abandon you. They will keep coming back until the work is. Ascended masters are real, and when I say real, I mean that they have physical incarnations, they have lifetimes. They appear when needed, and it's very cyclical, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Most of the time, they are not necessarily embodied or incarnate, as we would say. And the reason for that is because my understanding is that ascended masters are outside of the evolutionary cycle. So everything here, everyone here and everything here is part of God, creator, source, whatever word you want to use. And we are an expression of it, a fractal of it, a creation of it. Okay. Now, we could also look at that as consciousness. And so it's the temporary individualization of consciousness is what a soul or an aspect is. And so all of those temporary individualized units of sentience or consciousness are evolving in their own way and in their own time. And they are within an evolutionary cycle. So as an example, playing cards, a ridiculous example, but if you're playing cards with someone and you kind of deal everybody in, right? So all the players are going to be involved in it until you go through every card in the deck. Okay, so everyone here is participating in the evolutionary cycle. Once you're in, you're in. Okay, where the ascended masters, Jeff, from my understanding, where that it's different for them, they were never part, believe it or not, of the evolutionary cycle. So they are inserted into the deck like wild cards, and so they kind of change everything. And we can look at ascended masters, and I'm going to get to their origination later on as we keep talking. We can look at an ascended master as the true teachers of humanity, when embodied and even when not embodied, because they keep working with the lower frequencies through channelers, through mediums, and they keep emitting so much wisdom and love that it even affects this realm, even if they're not embodied. But they're inserted, Jeff, like literally like wild cards into a deck. They're inserted to help the progress of the evolutionary cycle and the evolution of consciousness itself. They are, in many ways, they were created as you see them. So in other words, they're already a finished product as a way to look at it. Again, I'm going to use a whole bunch of analogies. They're kind of finished. They were created from the get-go as sort of, they're done. They're not really working on themselves in the way that you and I would be working on ourselves that are within the evolutionary cycle. They're not really doing that. They're a completed, finished product that gets inserted, incarnation, to help with the evolutionary process and to help with the cycle of evolution that we're currently experiencing. So ascended masters, as we said, are already a finished product. They actually never had to work on themselves. Okay, they were literally created differently. They were created done. Now, where it gets really interesting from my direct experience is that ascended masters are actually not only from this God, but they are actually part of and projections of the other gods or the Elohim. And so this is where we get the ascended masters. You could think of them, in a way, as the children of the other gods, of the Elohim. And they represent a slice or an aspect of the totality of everything. And they're also highly unique, unusual, with tremendous abilities, tremendous wisdom, tremendous power, tremendous love, aspects of authentic self-mastery, the things that they can do with themselves. And they simply represent what is actually not here, which I know sounds odd, and the idea that something is lacking here. It's not that it's lacking. It's that it's an embodiment of a greater totality that exists within the Elohim and then the Absolute, or the all there is, that created all of the Elohim. And the Elohim are obviously referenced a whole bunch, Jeff, in many texts, including the Bible. The Elohim are the other gods, and the ascended masters are kind of like their all stars. I'm trying to think of a way to say it. A finished product that these other Elohim offer up into this realm to assist our God with its creation and to help with the evolutionary cycle. And the ascended masters are the true teachers of humanity, and everything about them is different. They sound different. They look the same because they're wearing a suit just like the rest of us, but they don't act. They don't act the same. They don't behave the same. They don't understand things in the same way. They have tremendous abilities. They're almost like they stand out when you actually interact with one, because it's like staring at an exotic flower or an exotic fruit. They're a bit mesmerizing, and they're a bit different. And they're simply here to help, to teach, to guide, and they are totally, totally unique.
Sounds to me like what you're saying is that you've encountered them in the physical.
I have. I have encountered them in the physical. In terms of encountering them in the physical, they would, quote unquote, look like everyone else because they're going to be wearing a human suit. But that's where the similarities end. Everything else about them is just sort of extraordinary. They are highly, highly, highly sentient, tons of wisdom. The love that emanates from them is otherworldly, and they often carry incredible talents and abilities with them. They're able to access information that the rest of us just can't access, because their sentience is literally different. It's a different quality of sentience. What's inside them is literally a different quality. The strength of will that these beings have, it's unbreakable. The love that they have is endless. The wisdom that they have is otherworldly. And they do keep reappearing, contrary to maybe what I would call spiritual fiction. These ascended masters do keep incarnating, but they do it in almost like teams, in that based upon where consciousness is at, where it is in the evolutionary cycle, certain ascended masters will be the exact right ingredient for the stew. It'll be just what the collective consciousness needs in order to take itself to the next level. So they will be an embodiment of exactly that missing ingredient that allows humanity to ascend and move up to its next level of its own evolution. Mahavatar Babaji, the being that you're referring to, it is my understanding that he is the teacher of teachers, in the sense that even ascended masters study with Mahavatar Babaji. It is my direct experience that he is the most evolved temporary individualization or unit of consciousness that has ever walked the earth. Every ascended master actually trains with Babaji, and dare I say, these huge gap within Jesus Christ's life that is completely unaccounted for. I will offer up that it is my experience that he left and went to India and studied with Mahavatar Babaji, became self-realized, tapped into his true level of self-mastery, purified himself, and came back christened or christened, fully enlightened, fully realized. And it was through his direct work and direct teachings with the great Mahavatar Babaji that he was then able to realize his true potential and do the work that he needed to do. So Mahavatar Babaji is absolutely real. He can materialize and dematerialize at will. He operates, which sounds amazing, but he operates in a way that's even past an ascended master, although Babaji is an ascended master, but he's so far beyond even where the other ascended masters operate, which is sort of unfathomable, but it's true. The being that was known as Christ, the being that was known as Buddha, the being that was known as Yogananda, the being that was known as Saint Germain. I can tell you they have all studied with Mahavatar Babaji. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you are desirous of more of the real you, and less of your conditioned, agitated mind, if you know that you can create a life that you're not leading right now, but you know you can, check out my meditation masterclass. It's pinned in the comments below.